doing today? It's been a minute since I've gone live because I adopted a puppy and she has been a lot of work along with her sister, and I've also been recovering from many illnesses. So I want to just hop on here and I want to talk to you about something. We're going to see how long she can stay still for. So I want to talk to you about problem frequency. This is a conversation that honestly is not had nearly enough in the coaching space. And it's one that's going to literally transform both your energetics and your mindset when it comes to your business. And when you change your energetics and your mindset, it allows whatever strategy you're using to actually work and to land, and to make it so that that strategy that you're using is one that you can build a foundation that you can soar from, that you can build from, that you can quantum leap from. I find that so many women in business are trying to focus on the quantum leap, and they're trying to normalize these big numbers in their business, but they haven't actually done the internal work to allow that to be normalized in their own life. And what I see happening is a lot of women haven't hit the consistent 10K, 20K month in their business, and they're focusing on what women in business that have a 100K month, that have a 700K month, that are having $1 million month. They're focusing on women in business who've been in business for years, who have literally built their business from the ground up, and they're now at the place where they can scale, where they can soar, where they can quantum leap. But the women who aren't there yet are focusing on what these women are doing right now and how they're building right now, but they're not actually zooming out to realize that they started down here too. And the thing is, when you start building your business, when you start building your mindset to be a business owner, to be a CEO, there's so many skills that you have to learn to navigate. Especially in my world, you hear me talk about an entrepreneurial coach. If you're in my programs and courses anyway, this is something that I talk about because coaching is a skill set in and of itself. In order to be a coach, there are so many different hats that you need to wear, and there's so many things that you need to be able to master. Excuse me, young lady, we do not eat the pillows. And so while you're learning to become a good coach, while you're learning to master your ability to communicate with people, to create content, to create offers, to support people, to hold space, like all of these different things, you also simultaneously have to be doing the business building things. And I see a lot of women are just learning manifestation, and they're learning energetic principles, which yes, like I literally have 3 manifestation programs. I teach on energetics. Like I've called myself an energetic mentor for a long time. So I literally preach and teach these things. But what I see so many women going wrong is they don't understand that I literally was going to business school. I dropped out of an MBA program. I had basically a 4.0, and I was a business subject matter expert for the New York State government for 8 years. I am now in my 3rd year of business, and I just now feel grounded. So I see a lot of women in business who've never even worked in the corporate world, and they've never gone to business school, and they're expecting that they're going to be able to build this multi-million-dollar business in year 1. And yes, it's the possibilities of that happening are there, absolutely. But in order for you to manifest, in order for you to quantum leap, in order for you to build a multi-million-dollar business, you have to do the small tasks. The micro movements lead to the macro transformations. And I see that we're getting too caught up on the shiny objects and not actually doing what's required of us to build the business. And then what happens is when we're getting caught up on what everyone else is doing, how much money she makes, the program she's teaching, yada, 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 we then start being like, oh my God, there's got to be something wrong. Like there's got to be something wrong with the way I'm doing it, or it's just not meant for me. It's not working out, because you're posting offers and you're selling your private coaching and you're talking about ways that people can work with you every single day, and no one's reaching out, or very little people are reaching out. Or you've been in business for a while now and you feel like you should have already made that 20K month and you still haven't. We start making it very personal. And then I find what people end up doing, women specifically, they start getting stuck in this problem frequency where it's like, okay, well, I'm doing all these things and you're immediately looking for the results to be there. You're immediately looking for the evidence, and when those evidence and those results aren't there, that's when we're unplugging, that's when we're ghosting our audience, that's when we're getting really deep in the mind drama and the stories that are telling us the exact opposite of what we want to create. And on a conscious level, we know that, but because we have so much unconscious work that we have to do, we keep getting pulled into our unconscious patterns. And that's why with me, I'm never just going to talk to you about business. Like, it's going to be energetics, it's going to be shadow work, it's going to be mindset, it's going to be all of the pieces, because I'm a holistic coach and they're all required. We can't keep trying to micro niche down, because what's happening is when we're micro niching, we aren't taking all of the other factors into consideration. And that's actually cock blocking our success. And I've seen it time and time again. And I know this, like, I'm not just talking at you, I'm talking from an empathetic state where I know this because I did this as well, is that instead of meeting myself where I was at and meeting myself and looking at the skills that I had, looking at the skill sets that I still needed to develop, really being aware of where I was, what I needed to work on, and where I was going, and building and moving this entire time. It's so easy to get caught in problem frequency, and that's it's not working out, it's working for everyone else, I just can't do this, there's something wrong with me, why isn't no one signing up, blah, 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 blah. Like, the money's not there, blah, blah, blah. And we end up staying in this problem frequency for so long, and that is really going to be the biggest thing that's going to set you apart from whether you are growing your business or whether you're actually just dragging your feet in the sand and you're not growing your business at all. In order to grow your business, you have to get out of problem frequency. Because here's the thing, right? Everything is available to you. Every solution is available to you. And conversely, every problem is available to you. There is a certain frequency that you embody when you are open and available to receive solutions from the universe. There is also a frequency that you're holding on to, and it's a very constricted frequency that closes you off from solutions when you are in a problem frequency. And I find that so many women are trying to build their business from problem frequency. They're trying to sell from problem frequency instead of working on their own mindset and energetics while they're building the business and while they're working with one strategy. Because that's the other thing, right? Like, I see women all the time saying, okay, well, this strategy obviously isn't working. I did it for 1 week and it didn't work, so they throw it away and they go to a new strategy. And here's the thing is, you're not giving your audience any time to understand how you sell, how you create, how you run your business if you're constantly changing strategies. And it's going to be so much longer for something to work because you're constantly just throwing spaghetti at the wall, and then when the spaghetti doesn't stick, you go, oh, okay, and you dump out the whole pot of water, you throw out the pan, and then you go buy a whole new oven. And it's like, maybe we should continue to build and work on what we're doing, the way that we're doing it. That's why I always say it doesn't matter what strategy you pick, but pick a fucking strategy and go with it. Because your mindset and your energetics drive the strategy, but you can't build a business without systems, without strategies. And here's my thing, right? Like, it's still hilarious to me that so many women are teaching live programs. And I did this for the last month. I was like, I'm going to teach live programs. This is just what I need to do. No, fucking hate it. We're done. Bye. I will not be teaching live programs because where I'm going, I'm building a multi-million-dollar brand that will be a billion-dollar brand. I don't have time to show up live all the time. Like, I love doing this when it's in overflow and when I can, but also the things that I create are fucking life-changing, so I don't need to be there live. And now, if I kept trying to do that, oh, we'll show up live strategy and teach live, how fucking sick did I just get this last week? Actually, the last 2 weeks, because I still kept trying to build in my business and show up live to do these live trainings when I have it down, I have it mastered, I have it packed. Like, evergreen is where I fucking thrive, and that's what I love to do. So if I keep trying to build my business in a way that doesn't inherently honor how I want to build my business, that strategy is never going to fucking work, right? So pick a strategy that works for you. For me, that's evergreen programs. I love it because I don't have to have the whole like, oh, are they on? Did they disconnect? Blah, blah, blah. Do I have to like worry about if they're there? Like, is somebody unmuted? Like, well, whatever. Here's my program. It's fucking incredible. It's fucking amazing. I don't care what time you show up. It's there. Like, that's my strategy. That's what works for me. And is that what the majority of coaches are doing? No. And is that okay? Yeah. Here's the thing is I can't think that my strategy isn't going to work because I see so many other coaches not using my strategy. As I said at the beginning of the year, I'm pretty sure that they're all going to be coming to me saying, how do you build these evergreen courses? Because I actually don't want to show up. Here's my thing is I'm not building just a coaching business. I am a serial entrepreneur who will have many businesses, and that means that I need to build my businesses in smart ways, which is why even though the mainstream way of selling isn't the way I do it, and the way of creating and coaching isn't the way I do it, that's fine, that's perfect, that's great. But do you see how if I kept trying to use a strategy that doesn't inherently honor how I want to do business, that would have never felt good and it would have never worked? So I want you to really ask yourself, like, what strategies are you trying to use in your business right now that don't actually honor you? Because it's really easy to get stuck in problem frequency when you're actually trying to use a strategy and build a business in a way that you hate. You know what I mean? And then the whole problem frequency thing is like, okay, so this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working. Well, how much time did you give it to work? And what was your mindset while you were doing it? What was your energetics while you were building it? Did you think it was going to work? Were you excited while you were doing it? Or were you in it like, oh, well, I need to launch this program because I need to make $5,000 by the end of the month, otherwise I can't pay my bills and then I'm gonna be homeless. You know what I mean? Like, there's problems, and then there's a frequency of creating problems and causing problems because you're continuously looking for the problem instead of looking for the solution. And it's a lot easier because the Matrix teaches you to always be looking for the problem instead of be looking for the solution. But the solutions are way more exciting, they're way more fun, and they're available too. But if you're constantly building your business from this frequency of it's not working, I'm not making enough money, I'm not getting enough engagement. Like, literally, problem frequency is lack. You're building your business in lack and you're just waiting for the problems. And here's something that might completely change your life. You might identify as a problem solver. This was something that I identified with. I grew up in a household that had 2 alcoholic parents. I, at 6 years old, had to start figuring out how to get my sister and I to school, to basketball practice, how to get us fed when like there wasn't an adult home in our house for 3 months. I grew up in problem frequency. I grew up with this identity, and I wore it as a badge of honor that I was a great problem solver, and I fucking am. I am. Like, when I worked for the state of New York, my last job for them was, I can't even legally tell you what one of my major job roles was because I'm online right now. But the last job that I can legally tell you that I did was I was in charge of making high-level human resource decisions and payroll decisions like that. I was so highly trained, and I was able to make decisions like this when I hadn't even been in that field for 2 years. When the woman above me, who I reported to, would tell the people that she'd have to wait, like, oh, let me come back to it. I have to think about it. Like, and then she wouldn't have an answer and it'd be wrong anyway. So is it helpful that I'm amazing at problem solving? Fucking yes, because when I had to make 75 high-level executive HR decisions that affected people's paychecks and affected people's work, I was able to do it like that, and I was always right. Like, and I can confidently say that because I'm fucking good at everything I do. So was being a good problem solver a bad problem to have? No. But was being a good problem solver kind of a bad identity to wear into my business? Yes. Because then it was me constantly looking for things that I could fix and things that I could change instead of building in the way that I wanted to build it, trusting that I was showing up in the right energy and the right mindset. And when I noticed that my energy wobbled, when I noticed that my mindset went to shit, I worked on that while building the business. And here's the thing, if you're gonna be an entrepreneurial coach, you have to be building the business and working on you, because you are doing a work that's in personal development, so you can't avoid that work. That's when we talk about incongruency in the coaching industry, because you're not actually in integrity with what you're preaching or what you're teaching, or you're not doing what you're saying that you're doing. And I find that a lot of women really do identify with that problem solver, because like women are the ones that have to be the emotional support. Women are the ones that have to, like, literally, women already did everything in the household pretty much except for make the money, and now women are doing everything in the household and making money pretty much. So like the man's role hasn't changed much and the woman's role has just expanded. So like, let's figure this one out, and we still don't have control over our bodies. Okay. But what I'm getting at is that women are very, like, epigenetically, 14 generations back is in our lineage. It's proven scientifically. So we still, as women, are carrying the epigenetics of being the person at home, being the person that was solving all of the problems at home. And now we are taking this into our businesses. And while this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's an amazing skill to have. Can it be a skill that you pull out when it's needed, or is it an identity that you're wearing all the time? Because if it's an identity that you're wearing all of the time, you are going to see that you're creating problems all the fucking time in your life and your business, because you're available for problems because you solve problems. That's what you do. So, few things there. Like, I want you to start looking at, like, an identity level. Do I really identify as a problem solver? And if so, how can you work with that, and how can you put on a new identity? Like, how can you, often problem solvers, and I know this from experience, they don't trust the universe, they don't trust themselves, they don't trust people. And I'm sure, just like myself, you had many reasons why you don't. But in order for you to build a sustainable business, you need to be able to put on a problem solver hat, and you need to be able to take off the frequency of problems, problem frequency. You need to start working in a frequency, in an energetic state where you are open to the support, where you are open to what's coming into you, where you accept that the work that you did do was enough, and you don't need to stress yourself out to work more. You trust that the work that you're doing is exactly the work that needs to be done, and you trust that the people that are meant to come into your world are coming into your world, and you're trusting that everything that's showing up in your business is happening to show you a shadow that you need to transcend, a pattern that you need to transcend, an identity that you need to transcend, beliefs that you need to transcend. Like, everything that's happening in business is a mirror showing you where you need to work on you. So instead of grasping for another strategy, I really recommend that you start sitting with yourself and give yourself some spaciousness on how you're actually building this business, and what frequency you're in, and what mindset you're in. Because you're going to hear me all the time talk about frequency, mindset. But I feel like the conversation that isn't happening enough is the actual business building conversation. And I want to see women break the paradigm where women are not making money. Like, I want to see billion-dollar women walking down the street everywhere. I want to be following billionaires that are women. I am so sick of seeing men with money, like, do what you want to do, but the women are rising now. This is the age of the divine feminine, and we are here to break any shackle that any man has put on us, even if we don't have rights to our bodies right now. Watch us all be fucking billionaires, and then the men have no idea how to control us anymore. Here's the thing is, we get to decide, and we get to be in our power as women, and society is still run by men that are afraid of women and their power. So what does that tell you? That women need to get comfortable in their power, because we need to show men that women can be comfortable in their power, so men can start seeing women in their power, so that they can start respecting women in their power instead of fearing us. And like, I literally get goosebumps saying that, because like, we're in the age of Aquarius and everything is fucking changing. And when you start to learn how to do business in this way, where we're talking about frequency and energetics and mindset and strategy, like, you're actually unstoppable. So before my voice just completely gives out, I'm going to leave it here, but let me know what stood out to you here? I'm really curious. Like, have you been operating in problem frequency? Do you still identify as a problem solver? And can you also take some time to witness how that frequency or that identity is playing out in a negative way in your business? Because once you see that that isn't something that's always helpful, that's when you can start realizing when it comes up so that you can start reprogramming yourself to operate differently. And if you want to get into my world, I just revamped my membership. As I said, I don't teach live programs, so you will get access to my library of all of my programs on human design, on energetics, on business, on mindset. It's growing, so yes, I'm releasing new programs and it's getting added to it, but these programs are all going to be evergreen programs. So this is basically a place for you to go to really get grounded instead of hearing all of these different ways to do business, and instead of like following people that are talking about business in a way that's so like kind of like strategy, like, oh, this is what a hot audience is, and this is how you create content, and this is how you create programs. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm so over that conversation. Okay, so they are going to start doing construction again. I thought they were on lunch. So we are going to go, but this is like the best time to get into my world because you can get access to everything that I'm creating, which I'm building out an incredible product suite right now. And you'll get access to all of that for literally the price of just this month's program. So if you join my membership right now, you will get access to every single program that I've ever taught, and you'll get it for the price of I don't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck is going up today. So if you want to learn how to build your confidence, how to leverage your authenticity, how to become a magnetic coach, woman, CEO, I don't give a fuck is the place for you. If you're in the place in business where you're like, I'm noticing I'm in problem frequency and I'm not able to really get out of it, and I'm noticing that things aren't working, and you're really like, but how do I build through this? Then Grit, the masterclass, is going to be the best thing for you because it's the conversation that I needed when I was that coach that couldn't get out of problem frequency, that wasn't able to build through it, that like kept feeling like I kept being met with wall after wall after wall. This conversation is one that I think is going to really revolutionize you if you're still a woman who hasn't had a consistent 10K month. Because when you're building consistent 10K months, this is a completely, like, you're still building yourself. You're still building yourself out of the matrix and into the vortex. And so this is going to be a conversation where we're going to talk about what it really takes to build a business while navigating all of this. All right, I cannot talk while they're doing this. So I love you guys so much. If you have any questions about the membership, it's now called Synergy. It's not called Light Year anymore. If you want to get into I Don't Give a Fuck, if you want to get into Grit, I think those are the only programs I have going on right now. The rest are all evergreen. If you'd like to get into any of them, you can go to my website. If you have any questions, DM me. I love you guys so much. Okay, bye.